But that lady, that new press secretary, she's a gangster.
That video, dude.
She's a gangster. They're prepared. And you know why they're prepared? Because they're trying to play gotcha.
Yep.
So she played gotcha with them. She checkmated them.
She came in there with that Elon Musk flamethrower.
Play that video.
Watching this clip, I couldn't help but think how ironic that Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar and the rest of the ladies on The View spend their time calling Republicans the conspiracy theorists. But they have been wrong about everything they have said over the last couple.
The moment Karoline Leavitt filed her new lawsuit against The View, the media exploded all over again. But this time, something felt different. Joe Rogan didn't just give his opinion. He came out swinging, and his first shot was aimed right at Sunny Hostin. Karoline wasn't just annoyed, she was furious. After taking so many hits from the hosts, she decided enough was enough. Instead of staying quiet, she took the fight to court and went straight for the jugular. This lawsuit wasn't just about feeling insulted. Karoline made it clear. It was about accountability. She said The View had crossed the line, calling it calculated defamation on live television. As soon as the story broke that Karoline was suing again, chaos hit The View. But by then, the damage was done. Headlines started flying everywhere, and right behind them came Joe Rogan, ready to call them out in front of the world. Joe didn't pull any punches. Speaking to his massive audience, he said, "You've never seen someone more prepared for a question in your life." He meant Karoline. And nobody missed the point.
I agree that Joe Rogan is a horror. I mean, I'm not saying that Joe Rogan should be removed from Spotify. He's got 11 million listeners. He's got a $100 million, contract as of 2020. But I do think as the podcast platform, you have to have some sort of guidelines. How about a disclaimer on his podcast that says, this is misinformation?
Joe wasn't just praising Karoline's professionalism. He was calling out Sunny Hostin directly. Sunny had once tried to trap Karoline in a segment, using twisted numbers and smug expressions, and Joe noticed it all. He didn't stay quiet. He decided to speak up, loud and clear. "Sunny's not dumb," Rogan said, "but she's blinded by her own bias. She's too deep in the echo chamber to see it." That comment hit like a bomb, and it spread through the media like wildfire. No one expected Joe to go that hard. Suddenly, people began digging through old episodes of The View, and the cracks started showing. Clips of Karoline being interrupted, laughed at, and dismissed started trending. And viewers weren't happy with what they saw from a show that claimed to empower women. Very quickly, public sympathy began to shift, not toward the well-known hosts of The View, but toward Karoline Leavitt, who was bold enough to take legal action against a major network and still show up to defend her name. This had grown into something much bigger than a lawsuit. It turned into a symbol, a sign that big media names can't keep running their mouths without consequences. Karoline had drawn a line, and people noticed, and Joe Rogan wasn't done. On his podcast, he went even harder, slamming The View as a clique of elitists who think yelling makes them right. That clip blew up and went viral in just a few hours. Joe even said Sunny's name out loud, calling her out for attacking Karoline's character just because she had no facts to work with. His fans went wild, and the internet lit up with support. Through it all, Karoline stayed focused and steady. Her legal team kept moving forward, filing one motion after another, slowly building their case. Her message stayed strong. This wasn't just about her, it was about standing up to media bullies. "The arrogance on that stage is insane," one viewer posted.
So, apparently Joe Rogan has the most popular podcast on Spotify, and he's repeatedly spread COVID misinformation and invited guests on to do the same.
Went from Walter Cronkite, basically, to this guy, Joe Rogan, who believes in dragons. I checked it. He believes in dragons? He believes in dragons.
Did you triple source that?
Yes, I did. And he also thinks that dragons, like dinosaur-y type of animals, roamed the earth when people did.
Worried about losing your job, and you're worried about podcasts taking over, and who's the source of news, and we said Donald Trump was Hitler, but half the country disagreed with us, and he won, and this is and Joe Rogan believes in dragons.
Karoline didn't just walk in there with facts, she walked in with courage. And people in the comments couldn't agree more. Sunny tried to push back in the very next episode, calling the lawsuit frivolous, but her voice was shaky, and it showed. She knew this wasn't going away anytime soon. Even though Sunny tried to stay calm on camera, Joe Rogan's fans were already fired up. One person commented, "You went after the wrong woman. Now Joe's involved. You're done." In the court documents, Karoline's legal team didn't hold back at all. They listed everything: personal attacks, career smears, even nasty remarks about how she looked. People were stunned by how cruel it all got. One part of the filing even mentioned a behind-the-scenes moment where a producer reportedly said, "Let's rattle her." If that turns out to be real, The View could be in serious legal danger. Meanwhile, Joe Rogan kept pushing the issue. He said they claim to uplift women, but the moment a conservative woman speaks, they try to humiliate her. That quote went viral instantly. By now, this wasn't just about politics. It was about power. Who had it, and who was misusing it? Karoline Leavitt, backed by Rogan and a strong legal team, was rising fast, while The View was suddenly backpedaling. As the lawsuit gained momentum, the backlash against The View grew louder. More old clips surfaced, showing the hosts rolling their eyes, brushing off real concerns, and mocking guests they didn't agree with. Viewers weren't just watching anymore, they were angry. One viral post read, "This isn't a talk show. It's a smear machine hiding behind coffee mugs and applause signs." Joe Rogan only fueled that frustration. He asked, "How many times are they going to insult someone, then cry foul when they're sued?" And for many, the answer was crystal clear. Once was already too much. Sunny Hostin tried to recover with a short statement on air. She said she respects all women in public service, but to a lot of people it felt forced, and way too late. Behind the scenes, tension was rising fast. ABC insiders said executives were panicking, and phones were lighting up nonstop between lawyers and PR teams.
That's why people like our show, because they know that we are checked by ABC News. But
We're checked by everybody.
Yeah, I mean, if we're wrong, we have, the legal note here.
The human legal.
But
I don't know these people.
Hey, this is the most important part. This is right after she was saying, "We are run by ABC News. You should trust us, not Joe Rogan, who believes in dragons." So she
What?
by saying we should trust them because they're double checked by ABC News, and then making the stupidest f***ing statement. Like you didn't listen to what I said.
Yeah.
You didn't listen to what the wildlife biologist, and that's only a part of what he said.
I can't
the
believe
other
Joy
part of what he
Behar
said
didn't
was
wait.
there was something before that where he was explaining encounters with giant reptiles.
One insider even said this lawsuit has legs and teeth. Karoline's lawyers weren't backing down either. They argued that the show didn't just misrepresent her views, they tried to humiliate her just to grab attention and boost ratings. That claim hit hard and got people talking. Suddenly, the courtroom became the real battleground, and the stakes were higher than ever. If Karoline won, it could send a clear message to the media. Reckless words come with real consequences. And Joe Rogan? He fired off another shot. He said, "This isn't about politics anymore. It's about decency." And The View lost all of theirs a long time ago. Millions of people agreed. They were tired of watching shows that pretended to be open-minded, but only pushed one side. Hashtags like "or Stand with Karoline" and "View on Trial" were suddenly trending everywhere. Sunny Hostin tried to brush it off with a laugh during another episode, but it didn't come off right. Her reaction felt stiff, uncomfortable, and the tension in the room was obvious. Even loyal fans of The View started to speak up. Some longtime viewers began calling the show mean-spirited, elitist, and out of touch. That kind of criticism was dangerous for the show's future. Then Joe made another bold statement. What if this happened to someone without Karoline's resources or platform? That struck a chord, because most people wouldn't be able to fight back like she did. Karoline finally spoke out with a short but powerful message. She said she didn't sue out of revenge, but out of principle. "I was demeaned on national television," she said. "It was either let it slide or stand up." That one quote won her thousands of new supporters overnight. She didn't yell. She didn't attack. She just stood her ground. With confidence, truth, and a clear purpose. Meanwhile, behind the scenes at The View, things were falling apart. The usual sarcasm and snide comments vanished, replaced with awkward pauses and fake smiles.
I had to read the thing about The View because I just thought it was funny.
What's this?
The
Oh,
only reason why I read
dragon.
that about me.
Dragon lover.
The radio,
All right, tell me
Joy
what this is.
Behar was trying to say that I believe in dragons.
Wait, what is this? I just
She
heard
said,
about
I checked it. And the lady goes, did you double check it? She goes, I checked it. He believes in dragons.
Should be like
you think they lived
Sasquatch,
alongside of
bitch.
people?
The tone of The View had clearly shifted, and audiences were noticing. One tweet captured it perfectly. They look like kids who just got caught lying to the principal. But Joe Rogan wasn't letting it go. He said, you can't just throw garbage at people and then cry when they throw it back in court. That line hit hard, and it kept the fire burning. As the lawsuit gained more attention, Karoline's legal team started releasing bombshell after bombshell, transcripts, audio recordings, even internal memos that hinted at a coordinated effort to mock her. Sunny Hostin stayed completely silent. For someone known for quick replies and bold statements, her silence was deafening, and people noticed. That silence said it all. The storm had hit. And The View, once considered untouchable, was now exposed and cornered in front of the entire country. With the courtroom drama unfolding and the public watching every move, Karoline's lawsuit had become the biggest media trial of the year. People weren't just curious, they were choosing sides. And Sunny Hostin was feeling the heat more than anyone. Each day brought new twists. A headline, a throwback clip, another awkward flashback moment. Someone from inside the show reportedly said, "We underestimated her." Big mistake. That quote lit up social media instantly. Even though The View tried to steer the show back to normal topics, the lawsuit was like a cloud hanging over everything. Viewers could sense it. The forced laughter, the stiff timing, the nervous glances. Joe Rogan wasn't easing up either. On his next podcast, he said, "You can't call yourself a journalist and act like a bully at recess." His audience cracked up. But his point was dead serious. The fan base of The View started to divide. Some people kept defending the hosts, but others finally started asking the hard questions. One longtime viewer wrote, "Is this really the voice of reason, or just a loud echo chamber?" Then came another jaw-dropping moment from Karoline's legal team. A leaked email where a producer allegedly called her an easy target. That single line sparked a massive online storm. It didn't just seem mean, it sounded like a plan.
Well, it is the show that people love to hate.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
They get so much hate watching and hate watching viral clips of them saying ridiculous things. I mean, it is a rabies-infested hen house.
and at the same time, it seemed like the most interesting part was their audience seemed to be on my side.
Yes.
And that's their audience.
Yes. Well, their audience is not really their audience. Their audience is a group of people they bring in to watch television shows.
Sunny Hostin didn't say much. On camera, she still looked composed and polished. But behind the scenes, nerves were rising fast. One ABC executive reportedly said, "She needs to say something. Silence is becoming guilt." That's when Joe Rogan's show really took over the entire conversation. He started inviting legal experts, media critics, and even former TV producers to discuss the lawsuit. And every single guest said the same thing. This could change everything. One expert put it plainly. If Karoline wins this, the days of unfiltered slander on daytime television are numbered. That quote spread like wildfire. It showed up in headlines, trended on social media, and even made its way onto late-night comedy shows. Even comedians couldn't resist. They started roasting The View, calling it the least funny drama on television. The irony was brutal. The same people who used to mock others were now being mocked themselves. At the same time, Karoline kept building support, not just from conservatives, but from liberals and independents who respected her for standing up for herself. It was no longer just about politics. It was about doing what's right. "I don't care what side you're on," one viral post said. "No one deserves to be publicly humiliated for clout." That message started gaining traction, and fast. public opinion was shifting quickly. The views ratings were dropping. Advertisers were starting to worry. And each time Joe Rogan released a new clip, the internet blew up all over again. Sunny's usual confidence started to crack. Her on-air comments became more careful, more measured, like she knew one wrong word could end up as evidence in court. But Joe Rogan wasn't letting up. He said, they thought they could just throw her under the bus. Turns out, Karoline owns the bus now. That one-liner caught fire online and went viral in minutes. Then came the most shocking twist. Leaked behind-the-scenes footage appeared to show the hosts laughing and celebrating after mocking Karoline live on air. The video had everything: smirks, eye rolls, and even a moment of cheering. People were stunned. Outrage grew fast. One post demanded, "Where's the apology?" Another said, "Why aren't they being held to the same standards as everyone else?" A BC was scrambling. Their lawyers were in overdrive. The PR team was spinning, and the entire network's reputation was hanging by a thread. And through it all, Karoline Leavitt didn't back down. She stood tall, not as a victim, but as someone who had the strength to fight back. Her silver cross glinted under the lights. Her voice never wavered, and her determination only grew stronger. At this point, it wasn't just a lawsuit. It had become a full-on fight against arrogance, dishonesty, and double standards in the media. And with Joe Rogan fueling the fire, the momentum wasn't slowing down anytime soon.